Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. We are here to talk about something that affects every transaction, and it's appraisals. So, we have a lot of information to share with you today. We have appraisers and experts here today to kind of help lend their experience to what they're seeing. And I'm going to just turn it right over to John for our first question. He's our immediate past chair from MLS.
I guess the question, the primary question, the primary reason I think we're all here is, how are you being received? What is the pain point in this process with these changes since the structure has been changed?
The seller concession issue is difficult for everybody. We need the seller concessions. We have to verify every sale for the seller concessions. It's a Fannie Mae, VA, FHA requirement. And so we are reaching out to the agents, and we're getting very little response back. We're getting maybe up to 30% of our emails returned. And so there may be some confusion out there in regards to, I think one of them might be the mixing up with commissions and concessions, and commissions are never concessions. They're not seller concessions. They're paid in virtually every transaction.
Can I just stop you just for a minute on that? Can you reiterate that? Because I think that you're right. That is a confusion out there. So can you explain that again, that they're two different things?
So I think since the buyer representation lawsuit occurred, this is what kind of threw everything off. And a seller concession are mostly financing concessions. It's item 9D in your contract. That's mostly what we're looking for, but there could be other seller concessions, and they're special, they're creative, and we need to analyze those. We have to verify those, and then we have to report in the appraisal report what we did and didn't do. It's part of our uniform standards also.
I think that's important, just that distinction.
The key with commissions is it's paid in virtually every transaction. It's a marketing cost.
Very cool. That's actually a great definition, I think, for looking at it that way. Absolutely.
And the seller concession has to do with unusual marketing conditions that influence the price of the sale and are outside of the definition of market value. So in order for us to truly analyze that comparable, we need that information in order to help us help them with an appraisal assignment for a given property. So if we don't have that information, sometimes we'll have to not use a comparable, which could be the best sale that we have if we don't get that information. Don't get us wrong. We can look at 12 sales and we can figure out which one's out of whack and out of line, and that we might consider to have significant sale concessions. Okay, so we may throw that sale out anyway, but if it's a good sale and it's current, we may want to include it and make an adjustment for excessive points paid on behalf of the buyer by the seller.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, what you're saying is by not being able to reach out to those folks or not getting that information, you may be making assumptions in that price. Like if it's out of whack, you may be making an assumption that there was a concession made.
Well, if I have 12 sales and they range between $389 and $420, and then I have an outlier that's same model sells for $450, something's in that $450 sale that we're not aware of. It could be concessions, it could be a car, it could be a boat, who knows? So it's critical, or it could be a change in market. In other words, what we've experienced over the past 5 years is 40% plus appreciation in our valley, which we've never seen since 2003 and 2006.
Which just kind of, again, reiterate, answer those questions, get back to you guys so that you know going in when you're looking at those comparables. So what you're actually looking at.
I'd like to interject right at that point too, is that we have maybe 5 business days to complete an appraisal report.
Wow.
I mean, it's critical that we get them back, and
that timing brings up a great question. I mean, what's the best way to get in contact with you? Is it to reply to emails? Is it to return a call? Is it to send a text message? I mean, does anything work at this point?
Well, I'm sending out emails because I think that's a way to have things documented better. But a lot of appraisers are using phone calls, and sometimes we call with a follow-up. We have one office that's not returning any calls or any emails, so that's difficult to deal with. But if it's a phone call, obviously then a text return, something in writing,
It's sufficient.
You can text me in the middle of the night. I could care less.
Right.
And, it's a yes, concessions $5,000.
Right.
It's real simple.
Yeah.
It's not complicated, and
Right.
it takes 2 seconds. And this might be a deal we're working on for one of your agents to help complete a contract. So it's critical.
I think the biggest point that we have to make today is really that if an appraiser reaches out to you and calls you and wants to know information, it's part of our duty to educate them on the sale of that property so that they can make a better decision on the value and help understand and paint that picture. So answer the phone call, return the phone call, answer the text message, and follow up on the email. It's not going to take you much. They're not against us. We're working together as a team. And I think that's so important. And now more than ever, when with the concession fields going away, we have to rely on each other and create that professional relationship.
Absolutely, because we're here to help you and vice versa. If you've got a deal going and it's sold for X, we don't want to bring it in Y because we can't get information verified. My job is not to come in low. My job is to try to make the deal work if it's doable.
Right.
And communication is key in having an efficient and effective marketplace. I mean, you guys are integral in our real estate industry.
And we want to be helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Fannie Mae did recently come out with 2 directives on this issue, even though the issue hasn't really changed. They came out with a directive telling appraisers, they know that appraisers aren't doing the adjustments at all. They're not analyzing at all.
Right.
And then also there's the other side where maybe they're making too many adjustments. They're adjusting for dollar. So that's came out. And then also they had a directive on it in regards to the commissions. And so I would urge anybody who is interested in what this issue is about concessions to go to the Fannie Mae guidelines, go to the FHA and VA guidelines and actually look up what it says. Look at the definition of market value that Fannie Mae puts out that's in every appraisal report.
Yeah.
And that pretty much explains how this is handled.
Before we wrap up, I want to give you guys an opportunity to really speak to our participants and let them know so that way they can better understand really kind of going forward. So what do you need from us, and make it really clear in 30 seconds or less so that way they can help you do your job better.
I mean, I think I just spoke to that. I'm just reply to the emails, return the phone calls, texts with the seller sales concessions, not the commissions.
And it doesn't have to be the actual agent. It can be their assistant, anybody that works for them.
Fair enough.
And once you get a call for one, like it sold last week, and have the same information available just to send it out again.
I love that. I think that's amazing. That's a really good point. Have your TC get the information over to the appraiser if it's that easy.
It's as simple. Very simple process.
9D in the contract.
9D in the contract. Have your TC send it over, reply to their emails, return their calls, and if anything, send them a text message.
And if anything, and if you're in a larger office, have the address with the 9D information in a spreadsheet to where you can just look down to the address and send a text and say $1,450.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I know they can reach out to you guys if they have really questions.
Thank
you guys so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having us.